Have you ever wondered what Earth was like before the dinosaurs went extinct? Before humans roamed the planet, the prehistoric world was filled with fascinating creatures and unique landscapes. Oh boy, how we love thinking about what life was like before the dinosaurs went extinct. Who needs modern technology and comforts when you could be fighting off giant predators and living in caves? Am I right? And don't even get me started on the fantastic plant life. Who needs air conditioning when you can hang out in a giant fern all day? It's not like we need to breathe or anything. Ah, the good old days. In this video, we'll explore life before the dinosaurs disappeared and discover some incredible creatures that once called our planet. Before dinosaurs, the Carboniferous Period. It may surprise you that dinosaurs were not the first to inhabit Earth. Were there other animals roaming the planet before the age of dinosaurs? Indeed, the dinosaurs' reign was preceded by millions of years of other life forms. During the Carboniferous period, Earth was primarily covered in hot, humid swamps and rainforests, home to many large amphibians. One such creature that lived during this time was Diploceraspes, a strange animal with a body resembling a 3-foot-long salamander and a boomerang-shaped head. Can you imagine encountering one of these creatures while navigating through the swamps? In addition to strange amphibians, giant insects roamed the earth during this period. The atmosphere was so rich in oxygen, which resulted in much larger flying bugs. For instance, Meganura is a giant dragonfly that may have been the size of a large bird, such as an eagle. Have you ever seen a modern dragonfly? If so, they can be much larger than a typical insect. During dinosaurs, the Cretaceous period. Next, let's understand the period during the dinosaurs. To start, let's gain an understanding of the time leading up to extinction. The Cretaceous period spanned from 145 million to 66 million years ago and was the final period in Mesozoic era. It followed the Jurassic period and preceded the Paleogene, which marked the beginning of Cenozoic era. The Cretaceous climate and continents. Did you know that our planet's continents were once connected to a supercontinent, Pangaea? This happened around 335 million years ago. However, this landmass began to separate over time, and by the end of the Jurassic period, it had started to break apart. This continued throughout the Cretaceous period until the continents reached the positions they are in today. Earth was much warmer during this period than now, and there was little to no ice at the north and south poles. Sea levels were high, and at certain times they were 170 meters higher than today. As a result, shallow seas formed and divided some of the continents. For instance, the western interior seaway separated North America into two land masses during the late Cretaceous period. This massive sea stretched over 3,000 kilometers in length, nearly 1,000 kilometers in width, and only 760 meters in depth. Plants in the Cretaceous period. During the Cretaceous period, plant life vastly differed from what we see today. For instance, there were temperate rainforests that grew near the poles, which were free of ice back then. Dr. Paul Kenrick, an expert in prehistoric plants, explains that there is evidence of polar forests dominated by conifers, such as podocarps, araucarias, and ginkgo trees, with an undergrowth of ferns and cycads found in West Antarctica. These forests had to survive 4 months of total darkness during the polar night, unlike the temperate rainforest of North America's Pacific Northwest that we see today. It was challenging for plants to survive without sunlight for a prolonged duration. Around 90% of the plants are flowering plants, also known as angiosperms. Although the origin of flowering plants can be traced back to the Triassic period, there needs to be more evidence of them in the fossil record during the early Cretaceous period. However, by the end of Cretaceous period, angiosperms had become a significant part of the planet's plant life. Cretaceous period animals. Let's move to the fun part. What animals existed before the extinction? According to paleontologist Dr. Susie Maidment, all land animals more significant than 1 meter in the Cretaceous period were dinosaurs, while small mammals existed alongside them. They were a minor part of the ecosystem. Meanwhile, birds and pterosaurs flew in the skies, and mesosaurs and plesiosaurs dominated the seas. Although we tend to think of Triceratops and T-Rex when we think of Cretaceous dinosaurs, they only appear towards the end of the 80 million year period. During the early Cretaceous, Iguanodontian evolved complex chewing mechanism, and hadrosaurs, also known as the cows of the Cretaceous, ground up vast amounts of plant matter with their tiny teeth. While the enormous dinosaurs lived in the northern hemisphere during the Jurassic, it was during the Cretaceous that the southern hemisphere saw the emergence of the giant reptiles ever to exist, including titanosaurs like Pterodon, which measured 37.5 meters long. The reasons why some dinosaurs and pterosaurs grew so significantly during this period are still unclear. Still, some suggest it may have been related to atmospherical gases or an evolutionary arm race between prey and predators. Around 66 million years ago, the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event occurred, and it is considered one of the most well-known mass extinction events. It was caused by a giant asteroid crashing into the coast of Mexico, which significantly impacted the planet's climate. It is explained that the asteroid vaporized carbonate and sulfate rocks, causing acid rain, and threw ash, dust, and dirt into the atmosphere, resulting in the global collapse of the food chain. In addition, a thermal heat pulse caused wildfires, as evidenced by charcoal in the rock record, and massive tsunamis washed over the ocean basins. The formation of the Deccan Traps, one of the planet's most significant volcanic features, also contributed to the chaos by releasing vast amounts of sulfur that cooled the atmosphere. As a result of the Cretaceous extinction, about 65% of all species were wiped out, with animals being more severely affected than plants. While an entire group of animals disappeared, plants could still regenerate and regrow from rooting systems, buds, and other parts. Plants also have the advantage of producing large quantities of seeds that can survive in the soil for decades until the right conditions exist for growth. Plants have diverse ecological variations that allow them to adapt to different environments and conditions, making them more resilient to physical disturbances. This diversity also helps prevent the loss of entire plant groups during extinction events. After the Cretaceous extinction, the Paleogene period and the Cenozoic era began, with more modern plants evolving. The extinction of non-avian dinosaurs allowed mammals to diversify and grow, and evidence of some of the earliest primate-like mammals comes from the Paleogene. As we have seen, The prehistoric world was a fascinating and diverse place filled with creatures unlike anything we see today. From the massive marine reptiles that ruled the seas to the towering plant life that covered the land. The earth was a vastly different place before the dinosaurs went extinct. While we may never know anything about this ancient world, the fossils and evidence left behind give us a glimpse into the incredible creatures that once roamed our planet. Thanks for watching. That's it for today.